Some players suppose there is no reason to be a professional bettor. There is an opinion that professional bettors get in serious trouble with bookmakers when they start to win on sports betting. In gambling, many unfair bookmakers cut the limits and block the successful bettors' accounts. You are watching the Expected Score channel. In this video, we will talk about fraud and unfair bookmakers. In our previous video, we have explained bettors bet not against the bookmakers. They bet against the players who bet on the opposite outcomes. But this statement is correct only with the professional bookmakers, and not all bookmakers aim at professional players. In this video, you will get the information about unfair bookmakers who block the accounts, cut the limits, and do not pay the winnings to successful players. Also, you will understand the reason why bookmakers decide to do all these fraud actions. In one of the next videos, we will tell you where professional bettors should make their bets. At first, let's talk about the bookies who are not interesting for professional bettors. I want to remind you, we divide the players' pool into three parts: non-professional players, professional bettors, and half-professional bettors. These three categories have different meanings for bookmakers. The first category, non-professional bettors, is the most important for bookies. They have paid for the players from this category. To attract non-professional players, bookmakers spend a lot of money. They buy advertising on websites, TV, radio, and football matches. They struggle and spend millions of dollars on advertising for one main reason: to attract amateur players, non-professional players. It's impossible to attract professional bettors with that advertising. That aggressive marketing works only for amateurs who have no idea about math and betting. The problem is that each non-professional player costs a lot. And there is one more problem. Non-professional players have their limits. Each non-professional player cannot lose more than a certain amount of money in a month. Those limits depend on their income and the depth of their passion. The player cannot lose more money than he has. But professional and half-professional bettors are independent of advertising. They come to bookmakers with their aims, which may differ. One of them wants to get the gifts and bonuses which bookmakers have for non-professional players. Others search for higher odds on different sports events. The money of all these categories also have different meanings. Non-professional players lose on a long distance and have a negative ROI. Despite the short winning periods, they finally lose their money. Why does this process have disadvantages for bookies? The disadvantages are professional and half-professional bettors. They get the essential part of the money that amateur players lose. Bookmakers can own this money themselves, and these losses damage their marketing strategies. If only bookmakers could reduce the professional and half-professional bettors. This idea is suitable for the unfair bookies who start to destroy successful players. When the bookmakers reduce professional and half-professional bettors, all the money they spend on advertising becomes the most effective. Non-professional players will lose all their money to bookies. The scheme of that bookies is simple. They attract non-professional players by advertising, and then they get rid of all successful players, even the slightly successful. They block the accounts and cut the limits for the successful players. In this way, the players' pool in such bookmakers includes only non-professional players who bet with negative ROI and lose their money to bookies. Bookmakers' line in these bookmakers is also specific. They suggest the odds that are 5–10% lower than the most bookmakers provide. Bookmakers need to build the lines in this way because the players' pool bet their money in an unbalanced way. They bet not on the opposite outcomes. In most cases, they just bet on their favorite teams and the most popular teams. They bet on favorites. That is the reason why unfair bookies reduce odds on favorites. For example, they prefer to bet on total over in Bundesliga, which usually has many goals. That is why these bookmakers also reduce odds on total over. That is the way bookmakers raise their high profits. And even if non-professional players have his accidental win, he gets less money than he could by making bets with other, fair bookmakers. Now you have an idea of the fraud bookies. Don't be naive, stop betting as amateur player and start to win. You will get more information about professional sports betting in our free sports betting school. Visit our website expectedscore.com. You will find the link in the description below.